Have you ever had this thought? My life is fine. I have food. I have a job. People around me care. But why do I still feel empty inside? From the outside, nothing looks wrong. You're not in crisis. You're not falling apart. And yet, there's this dull ache, this fog, this whisper inside. Something is missing. Maybe you've tried to silence it by working harder, by staying busy, by scrolling endlessly. You remind yourself, I should be grateful. I have so much already. But gratitude and emptiness can live side by side. Gratitude comes from the mind, I know I should be thankful. Emptiness comes from the heart, something is not aligned. If you feel this way, you are not broken. You are not lazy. You are not behind. You are simply out of alignment. And today we'll explore why so many of us feel this way, why it's not failure, and most importantly, how you can start realigning your life. Because feeling lost isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning of a new chapter. Why so many people feel lost? We live in a paradox. Never before have humans had so much freedom, so many opportunities. And yet, never have so many felt so lost. Why? 1. Too many options in the past. Most people had one clear path. Today, you can study anything, move anywhere, try everything. Freedom without direction becomes overwhelming. Like facing 300 boxes of cereal in a supermarket, but instead of breakfast, it's your whole life. 2. The culture of comparison. Our grandparents compared themselves to neighbors and coworkers. We compare ourselves to thousands of strangers online. Instagram shows travel. LinkedIn shows success. TikTok shows perfect relationships. We compare our messy behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reels. And even if we're doing okay, we feel inadequate. 3. Constant noise. When was the last time you sat in silence? Most of us avoid it. Silence is uncomfortable. Because in silence, truth emerges. The job we hate. The relationship we've outgrown. The dream we've ignored. So we drown truth in endless noise. 4. External expectations. We were handed a script: school, career, marriage, house, retirement. But no one asked, what lights you up? We perform. We achieve. We check boxes. And somewhere along the way, we lose ourselves. What it really means to be lost. Being lost isn't depression. It isn't total despair. It's living with a map that doesn't match your territory. Signs of misalignment: busy but not moving toward meaning. Achievements feel hollow. Guilt when resting, exhaustion when working. A suspicion you're living someone else's life. Metaphors: wrong map. Driving without a compass. Shoes that don't fit. But here's the gift: if you feel lost, it means you can still feel. The ache itself is proof your inner compass is alive. It's not failure. It's a signal. Stories of being lost stories make this real. Let's look at how this plays out in people's lives. Story 1. The man in finance. A man I knew worked in finance. On paper, his life was perfect: a high salary, a nice apartment, respect from family and peers. But every Sunday night, dread filled him. His chest felt heavy, his stomach churned. He thought, maybe I'm lazy. Maybe I just need to toughen up. But he wasn't lazy. He was misaligned. Inside, he craved creativity. He loved storytelling, design, and building ideas from scratch. But he ignored those desires because finance was safe and respectable. Eventually, he burned out. And burnout forced him to listen. Today, he runs a small design agency. He doesn't earn as much as before. But when he wakes up, he feels alive. He feels aligned. Story 2. The doctor who shifted. A woman became a doctor because she wanted to help people. Noble, right? But years of hospital shifts, endless paperwork, and bureaucracy drained her. She began to feel numb. She thought, did I make a mistake? Did I choose the wrong career? Instead of quitting entirely, she paused. She asked herself, what part of medicine energizes me? And what part drains me? She realized she loved mentoring students and working on health programs, not the grind of daily hospital work. She shifted into public health. Same passion, new direction. Now, her days feel purposeful again. Story 3. The Wanderer. One man changed careers 5 times in 10 years. Law, teaching, sales, travel blogging, marketing. He felt like a failure. Like he was flaky, inconsistent, unable to commit. But each role gave him clues. Law taught him discipline. Teaching showed him his love for explaining. Sales sharpened his people skills. Blogging revealed his passion for storytelling. Marketing tied it all together. Eventually, he became a coach, blending teaching, storytelling, and people skills. Suddenly, his past wasn't a series of mistakes. It was training. Story 4. The Hidden Artist. A quiet office worker painted at night. Her apartment was full of canvases she never showed anyone. She told herself, it's just a hobby. Nothing important. But every time she painted, she lost track of time. Hours disappeared. She entered flow. One day, she gathered the courage to post one painting online. To her surprise, people loved it. Slowly, she began sharing more. She sold prints. She did commissions. She found a small community that valued her art. She still works her office job. But honoring her art gave her life new energy. Her purpose wasn't about quitting everything. It was about embracing what made her feel alive. Story 5. The engineer who loved music. An engineer followed a stable career path. He provided for his family, built a good reputation. But in secret, he played guitar. Every time he touched the strings, hours melted away. For years, he dismissed it. It's just a hobby. I'm too old. It doesn't matter. One day, he joined a local band. They played small gigs, cafes, community events. Nothing glamorous. But every performance reawakened him. He didn't need to quit engineering. He just needed to give music space. Story 6. The Mother who rediscovered herself. A woman devoted 20 years to raising children. When they left home, she realized, I don't even know who I am anymore. At first, she felt empty. Lost. But she chose to see it as a beginning, not an ending. She tried painting, hiking, volunteering, joining local clubs. Slowly, she pieced together a new identity. Not just mother, but individual. Curious, creative, alive. Story 7. The expat. A young man always felt restless in his hometown. Everyone around him followed the same script: school, job, marriage, house. He longed for something else but didn't know what. One day, he moved abroad. At first, it was terrifying. But in the new environment, without the weight of others' expectations, he discovered what truly mattered to him. It wasn't about a specific career. It was about values, freedom, curiosity, exploration. Living in alignment with those values gave him peace. What these stories show: every story is different. Different careers. Different struggles. Different outcomes. But they all share the same truth: Feeling lost was not the end. It was the beginning. The dread, the emptiness, the confusion. They weren't signs of failure. They were signs of awakening. Each person had to lose themselves to begin the journey of finding themselves again. Why we lose ourselves: family expectations. Out of love and fear, parents push safe paths. Cultural pressure, success equals money, status, busyness. Brain bias for safety, familiar feels safer than fulfilling. Distraction, constant noise numbs inner truth. Fear of standing out, true passions may look strange, so we hide them. Myth of one true path, pressure to find a single calling creates paralysis. Together, these forces silence our authentic self. Practices to realign. Realignment doesn't happen overnight. It begins with small, consistent steps. Curiosity journal, track sparks of interest daily. Stillness, 10 minutes of silence each day. Gentle questions, replace what should I do with what gives me energy. Body compass, notice where your body feels light versus heavy. Small experiments, clarity comes from action, not thought. Wheel of values, rate life areas, see what's neglected. Dialogue with inner child, ask your younger self what they'd love again. Tiny courage, weekly small brave act builds momentum. Exercises, practical exercises you can try today. Letter from future self, imagine yourself 10 years fulfilled, write advice back to now. Ideal week, design one ordinary but nourishing week. 3 childhood memories, recall times you felt alive, reintroduce elements. Small bold step, take one tiny action toward a postponed dream. Deep gratitude, not just food, house, but gratitude for the courage to even ask deeper questions. Let's bring it together. Feeling lost doesn't mean you've failed. It means you're awakening. Your ache is not weakness. It is guidance. Proof your compass still works. Nobody has it all figured out. But those who realign choose to listen inward, not just outward. Purpose isn't a destination. It evolves as you evolve. So if you feel lost today, remember, you're not at the end of your story. You're at the beginning of a new chapter. If this spoke to you, leave one word in the comments. How do you feel right now? And I'll see you in the next video, how to find your purpose without forcing it.